All right. Red, black, draw two. So, one of the things, when we've been playing the various blue-based draw two decks, like the Improbable Alliance decks, is that in recent memory, Irencrag Pyromancer here has actually felt more consistently like the better payoff than Improbable Alliance to me. So I wanted to try and play this card in a more aggressively slanted deck that's still capable of drawing 2 cards per turn. So to trigger Irencrag Pyromancer, we have a variety of things that let us draw a second card in a turn. We've got Stormfist Crusader, we've got Foulmire Knight, we've got Rix Maadi Reveler, we've got Rankle, we've got Midnight Reaper, and we've got Castle Locthwain. And like, most of the cards in this deck are just like decent, reasonable Magic the Gathering cards. So let's jump into some games with this and see how it goes. Yeah, the curve in the deck is relatively clean. Foulmire Knight is technically instant speed as well. Alright, Monster Man. Happy Tuesday to you. Alright, Just Guy fires, eh? That probably means I don't want to play Foulmire Knight on 1. I guess it also means I could start attacking, though. Yeah, I do probably just want to, like, start attacking. Oh, happy almost Brawl Day. Huh. I wonder what the queue times will look like tomorrow if the fact that it'll be Brawl Day will impact our ability to play, Historic. Clarion, my wayward son, there'll be peace when you are gone. Lay your weary head to rest, don't you cry no more. Do 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 do. No fires onto the opponent is good. Getting turn 3 Clarion sucks, but no fires is good for us. Yeah, we've played a spell every turn of the game, which is great. So, I'm aware that the lyrics to the song are not "There'll be peace when you are gone," but Deafening Clarion kills all of the creatures in play. So it is very thematically correct for me to say "There'll be peace when you are gone," because all the creatures are about to be gone. You should focus on what I'm saying, not on the fact that what I'm saying is wrong. That interaction is great. Basically, you're championing Midnight Reaper. Yeah, and it's even better than that, right? Because it gets to draw a card, too. Thanks for the heads up. OP Scry top, should we have drawn there? Yeah, I think so. My hand's just so bad, my hand's just so bad, Brad. And getting to upgrade a spell there is a big deal. Hey, I'm glad you like that, Ian. You gotta appreciate I'm a mix master, chat. Appreciate me. Enters the battlefield. Discard a card, draw a card. I think we're just like doing this, hitting them with Rankle, making us each sack and discard. I'm gonna bin the Murderous Rider here. I know I could get something back if I sack the Cavalier of Night, but I'd prefer to not lose my board to a Clarion. They definitely should have scryed upkeep, right? I guess maybe they want to try and do this. Scale of 1 to dead, what are we working with here? Good clean live in. So, Pyromancer actually isn't very good here, so I think it's an easy cut. Foulmire Knight, also not great, so maybe I just leave a couple of Pyromancers in. This seems fine. Someone had asked about why there was one random Tibalt here. So the Tibalt, while it feels random, kind of think of it as my 4th anti-cat card. So I have 3 Mayhem Devils that are anti-cat cards, and then Tibalt also stops them from gaining life so I could race them. But Tibalt also gets to come in matchups like this, where it's not just about the cat deck. Yeah, someone paid me to buy the Blood Pet. Who am I? Who am I to reject their money? Yeah, that seems great. Discard into Stormfist, sign me up. You think we'd be done with cat combo when Felidar got banned? Yep. Scryed one to the top, eh? Now to find out how much they respect Stormfist Crusader. They respect her an appropriate amount. They just stare right into their soul when you make that attack, just like... Yeah, I know, you know what's up. I'm gonna do this and ditch a land. Rankle's a great pickup here. Lets me trade Rix Maadi for whatever bomb they play. That's great. Yikes. Alright, so their hand is just all gas, huh? I think I ditch the Cavalier here and just play Rix Maadi and draw 3. Is that wrong? Maybe I'm just supposed to play the Cavalier as a 4/5. Agree that it's wrong or agree that that's the play? Maybe we should just draw 3. Yeah, I guess finding Murderous Rider is probably good here. That plays into a Clarion. I don't know, if they had a Clarion, they would have played it already. And it's hard to say it like plays into Clarion when I'm gassing back up, right? Hey, Fantasy's End. Have a sword. It's like we didn't even discard it, yeah. There's like, get to do this, kill your Cavalier Gales, hit you with this, make you sack the Kenrith. Life is small, Fantasy End. Need to make them discard their only card too. This game should be pretty over at this point, right? Oh, they get to draw a card with Kenrith, that's true. The noise you are hearing is because it's the first Tuesday of the month, so if you hear the faint sound in the background, those are the tornado sirens being tested. Welcome to Cornlandia. Because I don't think I really want Stormfist Crusader at this point. They have another blue Cavalier here. I guess I'm in a little trouble. That's pretty good too. Going up to 18 here. Going to be cornfield time for a few hours. Never been to Chicago. I've heard O'Hare is going to be awful. I actually don't mind O'Hare. A lot of people complain about O'Hare, but it's just a big airport. I've flown in through and out of O'Hare a number of times, just like genuinely never had a problem with it. I don't know. I don't know why people complain about it. O'Hare is fine, the weather is awful. Yeah, Midwest in December is not great. That's definitely true. Yeah, I kind of like big airports too. I've flown through, the Atlanta airport is very reasonable. I've flown through that one a number of times. What if there is a tornado on the first Tuesday of the month at 10 a.m.? Then we're all just screwed. Actually just wrecked. O'Hare has no smoking areas, and it sucks. They're just trying to do what's best for you because you won't do it for yourself. They have your best interests at heart. Land. This is my 24 land aggro deck that just drew an extra card and then bricked off. Welcome to Thunderdome. Enjoy your stay. Clary on me, daddy. If we'd have hit the land there, we would have gotten to play Midnight Reaper. I'm just going to concede rather than showing them more cards out of my deck. We know what they're doing. There's no need to bleed information here. Gonna board the same way we did in the last game. Nicholson, thank you for the third of the year. I appreciate the 4 months. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. Today's going to be a little bit of a shorter stream. I'm planning to be done by like 1 o'clock, 1:30 or so. I'll be back to my normal longer sets tomorrow and the rest of the week. As always, you can find my schedule on my website and my Twitter page and all that jazz. Subs, Discord, etc. So Theater of Horrors here, not a super common card. Draws a card at the beginning, kind of draws a card at the beginning of each upkeep, and then if we hit them, we get to cast the card that's underneath it. Bonecrusher Giant is super punishing for the decision I made that turn. I elected not to pump and to get the Theater down just because pumping doesn't prevent us from dying to Clarion, but it does play around Bonecrusher as a real consideration. Theater of Horrors is what I called my 4 years living in Atlanta. Well, they had both here, so it didn't really matter which land we took. We were going to get got either way. Got a land and a Cavalier under here. I don't know. I've driven a lot of places I've driven basically everywhere in the Midwest, a lot of the more northern parts of the South, and a lot of the East Coast. And the two worst places to drive, in my opinion, are definitely New York and Chicago. New York's the only place that's comparable to Chicago in my experience. Atlanta, Ohio. I've never been far enough to south to get to Houston. I've driven through Dallas a number of times. Boston's another one I haven't been to. Never been to Canada. The only time I've ever been outside of the United States was when Christy and I had an all-expense-paid trip to, we had an all-expense-paid trip to the Bahamas at one point for her job. I think I just do this because it unlocks my theater here, and then I get to do this and Cavalier their Cavalier. South Florida's the worst. We literally import the worst drivers from all around the world. Oh, that's good. In DC, they're imported and have diplomatic immunity. Yikes. Hey, that's a good draw. So I get to do this and then Cavalier their Cavalier again. Man, Cavalier of Night's just been super impressive. The Jund, I wonder if anybody is gonna figure out if anybody shows up to the Mythic Championship this weekend with Cavalier and Bantu in their oven deck, I bet they'll be my pick to win. The Cavalier and Bantu 5-drop slot in the Jund oven deck is just so incredibly good. I think the Pioneer Banlist update was very good. Super, super pleased with it. Is there a land under here? There is a land under here. All right, so I get to Duress you. I get to attack you with both of these. They eat one. I get to get back Midnight Reaper. And then I go land, Stormfist Crusader, Cavalier of Night, sacrifice Stormfist Crusader, kill your Cavalier, draw a card. That's like a sweep. We haven't even gotten to get our Pyromancers going yet, and it's just been awesome. Once per month, if you gift a sub or cheer Bits Punchworthy, you get bonus shillings. So you can't do it constantly, but once per month you can do that. Yeah, Theater's been very good this game too. Theater and Cavalier have both been great. Do you think they will support Pioneer with proper bans? Hopefully. Definitely think there's a number of green cards there that could stand to go away. I think we're going to put a third Cavalier in the main deck after this, and probably play the fourth in the sideboard. Card super impressive. It's not proportional, it's just a flat rate. My Keesis deck just got Field of Rude, rip. So apparently you can't give subs to people who are timed out. That's funny. I have a feeling that Historic might use restricted approach so cards are never totally dead. Yeah, maybe. They said they were going to approach the format potentially differently. That's definitely a different way to approach it. Punished for not bottoming the Rix Maadi. Haven't played since the ban. How is the game going these days? To set an incredibly low bar, the format is better after they kick the legs out of the food decks. Some of the cat decks are a little bit tedious to play against. But overall, I think it's still fine.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
No need to mass gift sub, Scooter. I appreciate you. So they can instant speed Clarion here, which I'd prefer not to have happen. That's why I'm not playing Rankle pre-combat. Stomp this idiot. Play this. Rix Maadi my way through a land. It's historic, a stopgap format so they can add some years down the road. They've said they want it to succeed and be its own thing. And so far, the implications of the format do say that that's actually what they want to do. Because, for example, of the first 20 cards they added directly to Historic, there are cards that are Historic legal that aren't Pioneer legal. And they said that that's something they're going to do more of in the future.
You show remorse. I'll trust me. I have a plan.
Waiting till 2020 is smart for Pioneer. All the people that are crying about, oh, my deck just got banned again, I'm done, I quit Magic, those people are idiots. They told those people up front how they were going to be managing the format, and then all of these really people that just want to cry were like surprise Pikachu face that the format actually got managed. I really appreciate how Wizards has approached Pioneer as a whole. I like that they decided to manage it via a ban list, start the ban list low, and then slowly manage it, as opposed to starting with a large ban list that was unnecessary like they did in Modern. The way they've approached managing the Pioneer ban list, to me, says Wizards is learning from the mistakes that they've made in the past. Which is good. It's the way they're approaching Pioneer says to me that they acknowledge the fact that Magic's got a lot going on and they can't predict what's going to happen in this new large card pool. Brady dead. They're also probably having hard... Stupid people often have hard days, Hippity. I can imagine if you're not bright, you probably have more hard days than not. Hey, thanks for the tier 2 and for the 14 months, Ryan. Put this towards Grixis Dragon. 10 out of 10 will do. That's an audio sound. What a release ready product we have here. Ooh, Teamer Adventures. That's exciting. I was playing Teamer Phoenix splashing green for once in Veil on the board, so I'm happy I don't feel priced into playing. Yeah, I agree. I like that I can look at deck building in Pioneer and not feel obligated to go is this supposed to have once in it because it's not optimal without once. That's why I only build Jinx. When I build a terrible deck, it'll be terrible forever. There you go. See, exactly. It's all about setting the right expectations. Or do they not have a land? Yeah, I think Blue-Red Flash is super sweet. If they have a Bonecrusher Giant here, they can crush my Pyromancer. It's pretty good. We have to discard the hand size now. There were some decks that weren't creature decks that weren't super obligated to play once, but yeah, pretty much all creature decks should have been playing once, is the TLDR. Alright, well, their mana troubles are over. Yikes. I like how the Storybrooke frame turns into a borderless normal frame with Lucky Clover. That's so many 1/1s, chat. You know what? Adding main deck spatial growth for Blue-Green draws. I think depending on how the format shapes up, that's fine. As always, you can find my current preferred iteration of Blue-Green Eldrazi on my website. So if you're interested in how I would make that deck look in a post-bans world, you can find that there. Updated that yesterday. Yeah, I tried to kill the token that wasn't full art. It didn't let me. Like Brazen Borrower bounced my whole board. Stomp my whole board, yep. Was that order a mistake playing Pyromancer after Rix Maadi? I'd already drawn 2 cards for the turn, Manad. Hey, Andre, thanks for the host. The read. Hope you had a good stream this morning. I have a sword, so you can chat here if you're ever around. I think we've died, chat. Everyone's got like 800 things up here. There's a great henge up there, too. Yeah, not looking particularly good for our hero. I think we're gonna attempt game the second. Short day today, Rook. So I don't actually have any shatters in my sideboard because my game plan for the Cat Oven decks with this deck is just Mayhem Devil them. They're almost certainly an Innkeeper deck, right? So Disfigure sounds very appealing. Is that just my only swap? Just like Disfigure for Cavalier? I think that's fine. Kick around the idea of having my Comp REL tournament players take an oath they've read the MTR and IPG. If they haven't, not to make me feel guilty for enforcing them. It tickled some of my judge friends, so how does it... I mean, that's the expectation, right? The expectation is that, like, if you're playing a competitive REL, you're supposed to be familiar with those documents. That was my understanding. So we got Stormfist into Irencrag here. Opponent's decks have a lot of interaction at those, so wouldn't be surprised if one or both of these die. I'm familiar with those documents. I've heard their names before. Lol. Lucky Clover is real good. They have if they have I assume they have Bonecrusher here. If they didn't have Bonecrusher, they wouldn't play this out. Wasn't there a Planeswalker mid-range deck that shouldn't playing once upon a time got banned? I don't know, probably. I think I just play Midnight Reaper here rather than Knight, just because it's the most resource-efficient play. Yeah, I agree, Kirsten. Like I said, I've been really happy with how they've managed Pioneer so far to date. I think they've taken a good approach from the start. I feel like after this latest set of bannings in Pioneer, I genuinely can't predict what the next potential problem card's going to be, which I feel like is a good place to be at, right? Like not knowing. I like the feeling of not knowing. You'd guess Nexus of Fate, maybe. It depends on what they want the format to look like. I wouldn't be surprised if Nexus of Fate is okay in Pioneer from a power level perspective. I mean, Field of the Dead's put up a lot of results. Probably some innocent looking card like Astrolabe. Yeah, I'd believe that. Yeah, that's gonna be we don't know, Percy. We don't know if they're banning on power level or if they're banning on quality of play either. Yeah, I agree, Witness. Your life will be better off if you just like ignore Reddit. If you're a sub on this channel especially, instead of reading Reddit, you should just pop into the Discord server. You'll probably be happier. Yeah, their deck's got a lot of value on it here. Depending on how these blocks go, they might just die though. One of the, I'm forgetting the name of the effect, but something that I read recently really hit home. It talked about how when you're an expert in a subject matter or have a lot of familiarity with the subject matter, you'll often be reading through things and you'll go, oh, the person that wrote this, even though it's really popular and has a lot of upvotes, was completely incorrect about it. But then you go, oh, okay, and then like you flip to the next thread and you read someone else speaking like they're an authority figure and you're like, oh, that's really smart, I didn't know that. And like you completely forget that like you just moments before you read something where someone really didn't know what they were talking about, and then you just like assume when you get to the next thread that the person here magically does. You want Duress for the Clovers? No. Boarding in Duress when they have high impact cards that it hits, but not a lot of cards, is generally incorrect. Now, what I'm referring to is not the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's not. If you listen to what I said, that's not what I said. Listen to what I described. Listen to the entirety of what I was talking about instead of not. And just jumping. People were like jumping to label it that before I even like finished talking. I think I bottom Rankle here. So I get to go 1, 2, 3 here. No, it's not cognitive dissonance. That's different as well. Gilsong, thanks to the Twitch Prime support. So again, it's the effect that when you read something that you know is very obviously wrong, and you're like, oh, this author doesn't understand what they're talking about, and I'm very familiar with this content field, so I know that they don't understand. But then you flip to another thread from the same source, and you read it, and you're like, oh, that sounds really smart, and I'm not familiar, so I believe this person. It's like, well, why would the person in this other field be more familiar than the one you just read, where you knew that they didn't know what they were talking about? Alright, I'm gonna concede. My opponent's deck is very good when it plays Lucky Clover on turn 2 every game, it turns out. Sure. Blood Crypt's a great draw. Let's play 1-drop on 1. Are you ready, chat? Bonecrusher's ready. No box. Hoping to draw another land in the next 2 turns. I should have been more specific. Hoping to draw an untapped land. No, that's not what I just described at all. Y'all say those are not the words that came out of my mouth. I think I'm gonna bin Rankle here. I think I'm gonna double block Pelt Collector here, trade my Knight for it. My mana is gonna be pretty tied up for the next few turns anyway, so I might as well get this straight in here. Play Bonecrusher Giant. We'll get to trade this. We can just never beat an Embercleave here, but we could trade this here, take 3, go down to 6. Next turn, play Cavalier sack. Alright, they have an Embercleave because there was a pause. Welcome to Thunderdome. Stormfist Crusader, not good against aggro decks. I think I want some Disfigure here. I'll trim Midnight Reaper. Yeah, what I'm referring to isn't talking about like peer review documents, Unox. It's talking about random non-experts writing things like random people on the internet, or folks like writing newspaper articles or stuff like that. Folks who are non-content matter experts. Not gonna play this other Foulmire Knight out because using the adventure half of it can trigger Pyromancer. Block. Hey, thanks for the tier 2 and for the 19 months of that, Mox Tangerine. Happy December to you as well. Any hot takes on my favorite decks? The blue-red flash deck's was really sweet. It's definitely one I've enjoyed. Well, no play there was very good for us. No land for the turn, less good for us. Yeah, we played some Citadel yesterday on stream for Historic. It was sweet. Huh? Do I Rider this? I think I'm actually just gonna go ahead, since I drew the land tier. I'm just gonna go ahead and cycle Foulmire Knight and then Disfigure this. Do we kill their board? Oh, I could have. No, that doesn't work that way. So if I Rankle hit them, the sacrifice happens before you target with the deal 3. So I can't Rankle and kill both their creatures there, no. That is not how Magic works. Well, even if, regardless of what the order is on this card, this whole text has to resolve before anything else happens. Not fetching a third black there might have been wrong, so I can't Foulmire and Rider in the same turn now. I guess I don't really need double red in this deck. Don't need to play around Veil of Summer anymore, so I can wait till combat to Murderous Rider this questing beast. Get super rewarded for doing so. Good night, Felicia. Got Collision Colossus here. A Morning Vengeance. This should be GG. Yeah, I should probably have 4 Cavaliers in the 75. Honestly, the Stormfist Crusaders have felt kind of bad. Wonder if I want to cut those and just pull up. Feel like there's a real chance that's what I want to do. Yep, double red is paying off here. Auto Tapper is real bad in the latest update. Real bad. You play Jund with Innkeeper. That's an idea. In 3 colors, you probably can't afford to play a bunch of castles, though. Yeah, that's another good question, too. Like, could you afford to play Cavalier in a 3-color build? I think I'm gonna try building this slightly bigger after this game and like cut the Stormfist Crusader package at the bottom. Probably add a 25th land and like maybe play all 4 Cavaliers in the main. Maybe we play more Rix Maadis too. You can take a peek at it here in a second. Yeah, Locthwain plus Pyromancer is sweet for sure. Listen, they were dead on board. They could have conceded. They're gonna play a dragon out. I'm gonna kill it. Okay? You judge me. Yeah, it's probably fine. Pyromancer and Phyrexian Arena. Yeah, that sounds great. My opponent is playing Magic this game. They've mulliganed to 4. All right. Robber's one of those cards that's very good when they mulligan. Okay. Got kind of punished for killing Pelt Collector on one. Help, I'm being robbed. So it's to play a knight here. I can't pump this though. Play out my Death Touch Dork. Hey, Kazume, thanks for the half a year. Okay, so like questing beasts is their best possible draw here.
Oh, have at it, boys.
Spellbreaker would also be pretty good because it would let Domri fight. I'm gonna make us both discard again. I could play this out, but like trading this for a Scragged Hellkite sounds great. This game should be done. Opponent played a real game for a mulligan to 4 cards. You know, London Mulligan's great. Actually just dead. Kerthunk. Yeah, seeing the way like that game played out, I don't think I need the Stormfist Crusader angle that this deck is playing at. Did you have fun in the match? Nah, let's always say no. Let's make their feedback sad. I had the vision for a potential new emote as a counterpoint for dollar bills. It's a fat potato wearing a military hat, no hands, and 2 smaller potatoes for his feet. His name is Richard Tater, and he's the dick. Put these towards red black fires will do my sticks. Who plays Magic for fun, chat? I like to play Magic to be. Yeah, we're cutthroat here. Hashtag trying hard all the time. All right, so I want another Cavalier. I think I kind of want another Rix Maadi. I think I want another land. You want Order of Midnight? That's probably not a terrible inclusion. I kinda don't mind. Do I want just Max Cavaliers? Max Cavaliers might just be right. This is mostly 4 ofs, like an adult. Look at these shillings go. So long, shillings. Hey, Kuzadi, thanks for the brand new Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month and keeping me employed. Four ofs where I'm a coward splits, right? Sorry, no, this is not the stream you fell in love with. Yeah, I kind of like the look of that. I got one board slot here. I know that Tybalt's actually very good. I'm gonna put two of the Smelt Idiot in my sideboard. Bedevil for the sideboard. That's actually, I like that idea. I like that idea. I have to play this hideous non-foil card. Maybe that's just better than Shieldbreaker. Let's try that. Yeah, I think Bedevil's pretty good right now. A lot of random artifacts. Would have been great against that adventure deck we played against, huh? There's no borderless option. I take it back. Cut the heretic card. Perish, non-believer. Yeah, it's great. Turn 1 Temple of Mystery. Is this a match where I want to play Foulmire Knight? I think it probably is. Just start getting some hits in. Having the Foulmire Knight in play gives me something I don't mind sacrificing to Cavalier down the line. It's a Growth Spiral or a Counterspell maybe. Could be, yeah, smells like Blue-Green Flash. In. Yeah, that block feels weird to me. Hey, golfer. Happy Tuesday. Feels bad, man. Something's gonna get quenched at some point, though. With the castle in play, I definitely want to just, like, run my hand to empty here. Just play out all my cards as quickly as possible. Bump 5-color Niv. Sounds good, Stuber. So even though it's banned in a bunch of format, Once Upon a Time is the perfect nickname if you're down with French-Canadian linguistic jokes. One of the things our French-Canadians say is, oi, it sounds like way, and if you pronounce Once Upon a Time, it becomes what? Weird. Weird. I'm gonna go ahead and pass here. This is a turn where they could Wicked Wolf us. Whatever that card's called, not Wicked Wolf. Yeah, the Flash Wolf. Night Pack Ambusher, there you go. That's the one I was thinking of. Drawing another Cavalier here is actually quite bad. As ideally, I was looking to draw a 3-mana spell so we could double spell this turn. Sabotage here is good for us. My opponent's countering my board presence, but they're not adding more to their own board presence, so they're not getting ahead. They're not catching back up here. Currently ahead on the table, looking to just run them down with this Knight and this Foulmire. Did you draw Brazen Borrower? Oh, they drew Brazen Borrower. Tilt. Well, time to jam our 5-drops, chat, and hope their last couple are maybe a little bit bad. Ooh, that's kind of exciting. I think I jammed this turn just because I'm currently on 7 mana, and what this means is if I draw a land next turn, I can Pyromancer and Cavalier of Night in the same turn, which is appealing. Whereas if I play Pyromancer this turn, I don't have a chance to double spell next turn, most likely. Huh? Do I just pass now? No, there's no way. Yeah, I wonder if I'm supposed to activate. I can't pass because this won't trigger on their turn. It might be right to just activate Castle though, yeah. I could also jam Rix Maadi. I'm gonna do this. This gets quenched is the downside. If they have a Brazen Borrower here, I get kinda hosed. Worked out better than expected. So I assume they're just on threats or nothing at this point, right? Might see a wolf out of them this turn. Yeah, it's probably Ambusher, right? Yeah. And then, if they don't have a way to interact with this other Pyromancer next turn, they're going to be in a world of hurt. I get to drop this and activate Castle. Could be a negate, yeah. It's a good read. Oh yeah, I suppose if they're on nothing, they're at 6, right? If they have a Borrower here, yep, we're playing with fire a little bit. I do take an extra damage here now. Yeah, I think it's just upstairs, right? Close game. Close game. Castle with Pyromancer was awesome there. Castle plus Pyromancer was quite good there. Just waiting on Tail's End, right? Alright, so I definitely want all my removal spells. I think I want Theater, because if this sticks, it gives us a chance to start double spelling. I think this is actually a Cavalier out matchup, just because I want to drag my curve down against the deck full of counter spells here. And what are my other trims here? I have a lot of 3s at the moment. I'm on the draw. If I cut 2 Rankles and cut a land. So my opponent's deck has an okay number of hits for Duress, but not a lot. And the cards that you want to take away from them, Duress doesn't hit. So like there's definitely spots where Duress is like fine, but if you actually look at a blue-green flash list, they don't have that many cards that it takes. Yeah, I agree. This deck generated some good games of Magic so far today. Castle and Pioneer are quite the spectacle. I see what you did there. Sand needs some lands. What about Drill Bit versus Duress? If I had Drill Bit, I might bring it in here. I don't know that I want Drill Bit in this deck in general, though. The types of decks I want, the discard effect against Duress is usually fine. I'm supposed to just play Foulmire there. No land drop instead. Yeah, Ebon Legion is very good in this matchup for sure. It's a card that gets down before they have their counterspells up, and then it can actually kill them. Yeah, a bit Violet Journey. Duress is definitely a bit worse than it once was in a lot of these matchups because a lot of these decks are playing adventure creatures now. Remember that time I boarded out a land? One of these cards here could have easily been the swamp I boarded out. That's fine. I think my decision was correct. I dragged my curve down a good bit. We cut all of our 5s and 2 of our 4s. That's not a Nightpack Ambusher. Howdy, Pino. I don't know. I'm not convinced that this deck is aggressive enough to really mitigate the downside of Stormfist Crusader. So while Stormfist Crusader is very good in the decks where it's good, in decks where you're not aggressive enough to mitigate its downside... Excuse me? Excuse me? What? What? Well, that just happened. Hold up. Yeah, they Narset reversal our Bonecrusher. I think exclamation point bans is probably the command you're looking for. Ban for life. So, hoping to hit a land next turn, so I can Bonecrusher, Preserver, and then play Bonecrusher out to trade with the Frilled Mystic. Yeah, I think the lack of a land there is going to do us in. Rankle's pretty bad here. Yeah, I might go Foulmire Knight instead. Yeah, I could have given my opponent a chance to make a mistake. A reasonable player is not going to make that mistake, and I just decided to save myself time. So the result there is going to be the same. I get it though. This is the ladder. It's very serious business. You want to get your opponents making mistakes. That was not the second black source I was hoping for there, but maybe I'm supposed to actually Rix Maadi there to filter a bit. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to have Rix Maadi'd last turn. Yeah, if I'd have Rix Maadi'd last turn, I guess I end up in a similar spot. I'd be attacking for 2 here. I'm not attacking with this because I don't want to run into a 2-2. No reason to. The upside of dealing a point of damage is not worth the downside of running into their 2-2. I think I'm probably just passing here if they just take 2. I think I just want to hold up Bedevil. And I'm supposed to jam Pyromancer. It's very possible I'm supposed to jam Pyromancer. Castle is a way to get counters on Knight of the Ebon Legion. That is correct. Hey, the Ziggs. Thanks for the Bezo Bucks. I appreciate the 17 months. Welcome back. The Simic Flash decks are not good. I think Blue-Red Flash is quite possibly very good. I think the Simic variations are quite bad, in my experience. Leading on Knight of the Ebon Legion here, because it plays around Quench. Yeah, the Blue-Red Flash deck is sweet. Yeah, the Preserver trigger goes on the stack twice. It goes onto the stack when the creature enters play, and then it goes on the stack again once you've declared how much you're paying for X. So they're good draw. Chemist's Insight does not seem particularly good in their deck. I feel like they really can't afford to be spending that much mana not impacting the board. Because if I do that and they flash in a 2-drop, they get to grow their thing outside of range of my deal 3, which is not great. If we bolt ourselves, we grow the Knight. That seems not good. I think I'm just passing here. I just want to kill whatever they play. I probably should have done this during my main phase. I don't know. If I tap out for this, they like stick a Nightpack Ambusher, I'm really sad. How much of the Pioneer deck queue need to be reworked? Not much of it. Believe it or not, people don't pay me to play good decks. That's not how this channel works. But I've done that during my main phase. I would have gotten to play my 5th land, and these would have triggered, though. Of course, I could have also potentially have gotten blown out. Like, they could have Chemistered in response to me drawing, and then hit the Brazen Bar, and then I wouldn't have gotten my 3. Thanks for the 3 months, Larkanos. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Oh, this turn's not going to end well for us. They're going to, like, bounce this and eat this. Okay, this is better than it could have gone. This definitely could have gone worse. Yeah, then I get to Lava Coil. Getting to eat one of their things in combat means we're not just dead, which is nice. I think the animation's annoying, and the animation's great. So doing this during their upkeep is worse against Frilled Mystic, but it's better against Sinister Sabotage, Quench, Negate. And like they've already played one Frilled Mystic there, so I think it's better to play around Sabotage, Quench, and stuff like that. Could go either way though. You just have both, so it doesn't matter. They just have both, so it doesn't matter. I think we're just dead, right? Yeah, I probably should Bedevil pre-combat to play around Quench. I agree with that assessment. The blue-green deck's such a stain. Mono. The blue-red deck has some counter spells in it, but not nearly as many. It's a little bit less frustrating to play against. 12 plus is just... I think I foobarred that game in a couple of spots. Could have taken some different sequencing to play around their stuff better. Yeah, there is a Bedevil animation before full art. Is exactly correct. Tier 3s are appropriate for build arounds for standard and historic, yeah. Speaking of blue-red, probably don't want to redeploy this Knight of the Ebon Legion since they played out a Blast Zone. Nope, definitely clothed. Yeah, I think the blue-red list on my website has 1 Blast Zone in it, or 2. The deck tends to play a pretty high land count, all things considered. So Blast Zone helps you balance out flooding on occasion. Your high land count's really good with Gedwick. I think I'm going to go ahead and play my second Knight out now, because if they Blast Zone while Midnight Reaper's in play, they draw cards. Although if they kill Midnight Reaper, that becomes less appealing. I think I'm going to go ahead and just Bonecrusher this now. And again, don't really want to play this out because they have Blast Zone sitting there. So now I can drop Castle, play Foulmire Knight, smack them with Rankle, make us each sack. And their hand's already like filled with gas, so I'm gonna go ahead and just let us draw here. It probably helps us more than them. Getting the extra point of damage also triggers my Knight of the Ebon Legion. Yeah, Gedwick, static text of just like tapping things when you play blue spells, definitely very good in the blue-red deck. Big agree. Yeah, Rankle's great. Honestly, I know they just banned Smuggler's Copter. I heard a lot of people talking about how they think the black aggro decks are just dead without Smuggler's Copter. But I'd be kind of surprised if that's true, honestly. I think Eldraine as a whole was very successful. The adventure mechanic is very, very good. Yeah, I agree, Marty. I also would be surprised, like, there's a zombies list up on my website that felt quite reasonable that, like, doesn't have, the zombies list doesn't have any copters in it, and we never did. It probably should have, but, like, it felt fine without them. So likely be a couple of different black aggro decks. Crypt Breaker is a heck of a drug. That's one we should probably play in Historic at some point. They printed that one. It was one of their first 20 they printed in. You seen the white-black rally zombie deck? I have. Have you started playing historic decks yet? Yep. Yeah, there's a historic page up on my website. There's a video page where you can find lots of different stuff. Everything's well organized as always, regardless of the format we're playing here. The Freezy Pop, thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. How'd the Jeskai Adventure Splash deck feel in Modern? The deck as a whole felt kind of okay, but Modern as a whole just kind of sucks. I don't think we're going to be doing much more Modern on this channel. I'm not going to be accepting any more Modern decks until we play out the 2 that are already in the queue. And if after those 2 I still feel like the format's not great, I'm going to sunset the format on this channel. There's plenty of demand for both Pioneer and Historic and Standard to fill my content time. Sack this. Kill Gadwick. Attack you for 4. And then I actually am going to go ahead and play out this other knight here. Even though they can blast zone it away, if they're spending 4 mana blast zoning my knights next turn, that's a win for me. Yeah, I already was like only doing one. I've only been doing one Modern deck a week, and it just hasn't been fun. From a competitive perspective, I've not enjoyed Modern in a long time. And as, with the induction of Pioneer, a lot of the more casual players feel like they've bailed on the Modern queues with good reason. Is that a good draw? Pretty sure you've been thinking about canning Modern since I started watching this channel. Yeah, I mean, it's no secret that I have not... I've not made it a secret that I've not been a fan of, like, what Modern's developed into. It's just... Magic Arena isn't able to encompass everything. Magic Arena isn't able to encompass everything I enjoy from Magic. There were still parts of Modern I was enjoying. And Pioneer now provides the parts of Modern that I enjoy without the bullshit that Modern has. Is the best TLDR. Pioneer feels like it gets all of the good parts of Modern, and I never have to get Blood Moon or Chalice or any of these other random things that are just like not a great experience. Mox Opaled. Did I trim Pyromancer in this matchup? They don't have that many threats. They have a lot of interaction, so I'm going to have a hard time drawing 2. Foulmire Knight's not very good here. Maybe Foulmire Knight's actually. Board in a Lava Coil to kill their stuff. Let's try this. Yeah, I agree, Violet Journey. Yeah, I've been enjoying Historic too. I think Historic's a little bit too green right now to be healthy. And not as in green as in new, but green as in the color green. That's why. I hope they ban at a minimum Veil and Once Upon a Time in Historic as well. I think that would serve well to balance the format out a little bit. Yeah, I agree, Zinzos. I am looking forward to not having to bail on arena content altogether ever again in the future. It's like when Standard takes a down tip, instead of just bailing on arena, I can just like do more Historic. Do your feelings about Modern largely carry over to Legacy? Legacy doesn't have play patterns that I dislike heavily so much as Legacy just largely has repetitive play patterns. A lot of the good decks in Legacy are doing very similar things. Legacy's very blue as a format. And while I don't dislike a lot of those things that are going on in Legacy, it's also not great from a content perspective because Legacy's just not a very popular format. Because a lot of people aren't interested in playing a format where a deck costs multiple mortgage payments depending on where you live. And the Pyromancers worked out all. Yeah, they've been really good. I've liked them a lot. This deck's generated a lot of sweet games. I think our record's been about 500, so nothing super spectacular there. But as a whole, in terms of like the quality of games we're playing, I've enjoyed what we have going on. We're watching a format where I have to look up the vast majority of cards. They don't have a long history. To be fair, learning the ins and outs of Legacy is probably easier than learning the ins and outs of Modern or Pioneer, just because the playable card pool in that format is just so much smaller. That feels a little bad. I have a 4/5 lifelinker though, so hard to complain too much. It's going to be a Gadwick to gas up here. Yep. Alright, so we'll go Pyromancer into Rix Maadi here. Kill Gadwick. Attack them for 4, gain 4, play Knight. Game feels pretty done. Cavalier of Night's just been super impressive in this format. Like I said, if I had a standard tournament that I cared about winning, I would definitely play the Jund Oven deck that's on my site that has 4 Cavalier Knights in it. Card's super, super good. Bantu felt clunky and not necessary. Disagree. That's why I'm playing 2 of them. I think in the Oven Mirrors, there is a large amount of value to having a card like Bantu that allows you to go way over the top. My sight is slow right now. That appears to be accurate. I'm gonna pick my system admin. Yeah, I agree, extras. I think the Cavaliers are a good example of a well-done cycle. Not nearly as overbearing as the Titans. Close game here. They have another Brazen Borrower in exile. So if they have another burn spell, we're probably going to be dead. They clicked the wrong number for X. Awkward. Or maybe they clicked on too many lands. I mean, they wouldn't need to float a mana if they were hoping to get a Bonecrusher. I don't think I need to play around a Quench here. Yeah, if you get timed out, you lose your sword. Until I give it back to you. Does Twitch assumes if a mod's getting timed out, it's because they did a bad. Oh, is my website actually just down? It's not loading. And I ping my systems guy. You cannot silence yourself. I manually timed you out because I care. Yeah, if you're timed out, you just can't post in chat for 10 minutes. Royal Science is an interesting one in their deck. They're not playing Alliance. They're a blue-red flash deck, Rook. You can, however, spend shillings to be timed out like this guy. Yep. I think I was pretty happy with where we ended up with this. While what's it called? The Stormfist Crusader looks really appealing because it's a red-black card that lets us draw extra cards. Much like the other kind of mid-rangey versions of the Draw 2 decks, I think this deck's just not aggressive enough to mitigate the largest downside of Stormfist Crusader, which is also providing your opponent with extra cards. And honestly, I think between Foulmire, Rix Maadi, Midnight, Rankle, and Castle Locthwain, I think we have enough ways to trigger the Irencrag Pyromancer overall. I think I'm happy with this final configuration. You could probably push the sideboard in a couple different directions, but it seemed pretty fine. Won about half our matches and one or two of the matches that we lost. Definitely the blue-green flash matchup. I mismanaged some of my resources in there to lose the third game, I think. All right, we got Another standard deck coming up here today. We are going to play some Esper Dance of the Mans, the combo control deck of sorts. I'm going to hit a quick ad roll while I get this uploaded to all the different Stream Decker places and restart our wonderfully leaky client. So back in a few.